A man named Jack Frost, owner of the local saloon, pulled Annie aside. He'd heard the stories. He knew her aim was legendary. He told her of a vaudeville show coming to town, and a sharpshooter named Frank Butler. Frank challenged men across the country to try and outshoot him. Almost no one ever came close, but Jack had a feeling. Annie entered the competition, quiet, calm, just 15 years old, and when the shots rang out, the men watched in silence, because one by one she outshot them all. When Annie met Frank Butler for the first time, something shifted. She looked into his eyes like she'd never seen eyes before, like the world had paused just for a moment. And for Frank, it was no different. They stepped onto the stage together, competitors side by side. Shot after shot rang out. Annie hit every single mark. Frank missed just one. He lowered his head, hand over his brow, not in shame but in disbelief. He'd never been beaten like that, especially not by a 15-year-old girl with a calm gaze and unshakable aim. But instead of walking away, he saw something greater. He invited Annie to join his act. Together they toured vaudeville circuits across the country. Town by town, show by show, they amazed audiences with every performance. Their routes crisscrossed the United States, long roads, endless nights, packed festivals, and through it all, their bond deepened. Frank was captivated not just by her skill, but by her strength, her spirit, her fire. And Annie couldn't take her eyes off of him. Their love grew quietly, naturally. What began as a match of marksmanship became something far more rare, a true partnership. On August 23, 1876, Annie Oakley and Frank Butler were married. It was a love built on admiration, a business built on brilliance, a story built on equal footing. She didn't just win the competition. She won his heart. In time, it became clear to everyone, including Frank, that Annie was the star. She stepped into the spotlight with grace, confidence, and unmatched skill, and Frank, rather than standing in her way, stepped back, proudly. He became her presenter, her manager, her support, because he knew the world needed to see her shine, and shine she did. But behind the scenes, away from the gunpowder and applause, their life was gentle. They treasured the quiet. Tea at home, peaceful afternoons reading the newspaper, simple moments that stitched their lives together just as tightly as their travels ever did. They made time for each other, not just in the bright lights of the vaudeville circus, but in the stillness between shows, because to them, love wasn't found in the spotlight. It was found in the silence.